All right. Test, test,
Test.
test, test.
We talked about it earlier in this episode. So Night Court certainly has come back. It is a continuation series, so it's kind of picks up where the original series sort of left off years ago. The '90s show just dropped. Dean mentioned he just watched the first couple episodes of that. That's a continuation of the '70s show with Red and Kitty Foreman and the grandkids. Quantum Leap, another one of Dean's favorite shows, is a continuation of the original series. They've just announced a Wednesday season 2 on Netflix will come out. So Wednesday season 1 was a continuation of the Addams Family, where the kids are a little bit older and she's high school age and all of that. And they've had other ones the last couple of years.
Will she be of age in this this next season?
Jenna Ortega? I don't know. I think the actress is, but the character, I'm not so sure. So you have to just hold off a little bit.
He's like, hey, 50%'s whatever. That's fine. As long as one of them lands, I don't care.
Yeah, focus on the green M&M a little bit longer. Then we've had Will and Grace came back and made some new episodes a couple years back. Mad About You did the same. We had Fuller House, continuation of Full House. How I Met Your Father. So it's been, we're seeing more and more of these kind of continuation TV shows. I don't know, this is some of the movies, certainly, but it's becoming more popular. So this is our, so getting to our Ask an Idiot segment of the week here, guys. So just a couple things. You can answer kind of just, whatever, do you like these continuation type of series? Okay. If you do, what are some of the elements that makes a successful continuation story in your mind? Or do you not like these so much? And if you don't like them so much, why not? So, Dean, why don't we start with you? Obviously, you're a big fan of a couple of these with Quantum Leap and Night Court. So, do you like these, the continuations? Do you like to see the old characters come back? And again, what are the elements that makes it a good or not so good one?
Well, it's the same idea as why people like sequels. If you get vested into a story and characters, you learn to love them and they grow with you, and then it ends. And you're like, okay, well, that stinks, but I had that. And then you find out, oh, they're gonna do Empire Strikes Back, and you're like, oh shit, I'm all in. Then it's the same idea. You especially with TV, you get like years and years of enjoying and loving these characters, and then they go away. And especially now, you take, like, for example, when Night Court ended, I was just a teenager, and I loved that series. I loved the characters. I loved the premise and everything. And now you take a 40-year-old Dean, and he's now able to appreciate it on many different levels.
Okay.
Especially like what was probably meant for adults back then. Now I can appreciate it on a different level. But yeah, it's the idea that you get vested in these characters and stories, and then surprise, you get to bring them back, even if it's for like a special one season run. It's fun just to see where those characters are, the ones that you loved for so many years. So, yeah, and that, I think, in my opinion, that's why.
Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously to make a good one, I think like nostalgia is key, right? Because that's why you're here in the first place. Like I think all the it kind of runs like along with what Dean said there, like. You become attached to these characters and stuff like that. So if you've already got the interest in it, you're more than willing to pick back up where it left off, right? I think it's also pretty key that I don't know if Night Court has returning characters or not, but it sounds like from what I understand Night Court to be, it's like you could kind of just run with what the premise is, and as long as you have the same style of comedy, it's going to pretty much work the same. But like, we've seen, things like Fuller House and whatever, and bringing back original cast members from Full House. All the guys, Dave Coulier, Bob Saget, and John Stamos, all made appearances on it. Similar style of show, similar vibe, types of jokes. You've got the characters that were already in it before as children, and then you've got callbacks to the original show. So I think things like that definitely like make them successful. Personally, I mean, not all of these are the same as far as reboots versus continuations and things like that. I like, or reboots over remakes, I should say. I think at least with a reboot, it's kind of it takes a little more maybe originality, or you can see people who are fans of the property come and take it over and kind of work off of it, as to where maybe with the remakes people are a little, I don't know, it's just remakes, while some of them have been very good, various movies and TV shows we've seen, some of them just probably it's a pretty easy job to do. You've got a base model to go off of. So like with a reboot, at least it's like, okay, now we take this thing that we're all familiar with and we imagine how it continues on from here. So like, I like them. I think it's kind of a different change of pace, because for so long we were seeing so many remakes, and so like it just felt like a lot of unoriginal ideas. You know what I mean? Were coming out, and it's like, man, does anybody like come up with anything original anymore? So although this is not completely original, it is imaginative. You know what I mean? It's in a new direction, and you're continuing on a story that's already there. So
maybe that's the point. So many people say, "Oh, can't you come up with your story? If I wanted to see that, I'd just watch the original." And everybody goes, "Oh, well, we can kind of do that."
Right. Yeah.
And then that works because people see what they need to.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool that you're seeing more and more of it. And I mean, there is definitely a lot of love and a lot of sentimental attachment to a lot of these things. So it's easy for people to pick up something that was very popular that's been gone for a while and go, well, let's add this onto it. Let's make some new content for, the fandom is still there. The audience for it is still clearly there. So let's kind of just build off of that. So I don't know. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your guys' points. So it's I'm not as much of a fan as the reboots necessarily, the remakes. We had a whole episode to that. We talked about that a few episodes ago, so check that out if you haven't heard that. But to make a good one, I agree with you guys, and you have to honor the original story somehow, some way, right? So whether you pay homage to some of the original characters or something, there has to be some type of tie to it. So even if you weren't necessarily a big fan of the original series, but you got to have some ties to it, because some people are going to have some ties, right? So I think that's what made the Wednesday series so good. I mean, clearly, it was focused on, well, she was great anyway, but they focused on the Wednesday character. And they definitely they had some of the original characters in it, but they weren't the prominent figure. You had Thing, the hand, which was great to see. The Thing actually had a very prominent role as a supporting character in this series. You got to see Lurch for a second. You got to see Pugsley. Mr. and Mrs. Adams were great, but they weren't the focal points. It's the Wednesday Addams series, so it's hers. But they definitely played homage to the Addams Family storyline and the characters, and introduced other characters, other supporting characters. So it just kind of had everything going for it, where she had her own story, still ties to the original series, and it definitely played great homage to the original series and original characters. And they introduced other supporting characters around Wednesday that people got into and enjoyed, and it was a hit. And so now, again, they're going to have another season of it. So I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, go ahead.
Could you do, not you guys, but, could they do, and it be successful, like spin off a movie of the Addams Family with that cast? You know what I mean? And like bring her back into the fold. And then after the movie, she can still continue to go do the series, but like, they have Luis Guzman and what's her name, and Morticia. Her.
Yeah.
but
Kirk
could you?
Douglas's wife. I'm kidding. I know it's Michael Douglas's wife.
That's what you call a callback.
That's
No,
right.
but do you think that could work for that show? Is to do a movie like an Addams Family movie with that cast? You know what I mean? Like put them in, in the Addams Family setting.
Catherine
even
Zeta-Jones, for God's sake.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, so
I think it'd
she's
be
back
interesting.
home. She's back
Yeah.
home from school or something like that, and they have the Addams Family house and all the
Yep.
craziness that goes on there. With actually, Uncle Fester was in the series too, but Uncle Fester's in the house and everything, and then she goes back to school or something. Yeah, you can
And
do
then
that.
you continue the series.
Yeah, I think you could do that with these, just because the
The cast is so good.
cast is so good. Exactly
Yeah.
right. You couldn't do that with an ordinary cast, but again, you got
Correct. You got big
I guess
stars to do the cast.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's an
like
interesting
Wednesday's been getting a ton of like positive feedback. I mean, everybody that I've heard that's seen it, I've heard nothing
Right.
but good things about it.
Well
All
done,
right, guys.
sir. Well done.
We'll throw one more question.
Do you
at you.
think?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
No, I was.
You first.
Well, I was just gonna. I had a question about the show. Would you consider the TV show MASH? Like, 'cause I know you guys didn't see the movie, but going from movie to the TV show with only one character being the same.
As a continuation?
Yeah, or is that a reboot, or like?
You mean
what would
could you take
consider
one
that?
character from MASH and make another TV show? And would
No,
it
they
be...
did. Well,
They
actually,
tried
they
that.
did that too. Yeah, they
It's
did
terrible.
after MASH and Trapper John,
after MASH?
right.
MD. But anyways, it was just a random thought. Sorry.
Okay. I think that was considered more of a remake.
Okay.
I think it's the series. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, here's a question though. So you could pick one series all time to make a continuation. We probably talked about this before in the reboot. I don't care. We're going to talk about it again here for a second because it just
Okay.
fits more with this discussion. So give me a series, or give me a two if you want to, but that you'd love to see a continuation. Obviously, you got to keep in mind it's some people are not with us anymore who are on some of your favorite shows. So keep everything in mind, right? But today's world, give me a series you'd like to see a continuation.
The easiest one for me is a show that I love dearly. It only went on for 3 seasons, and it was cut way too short. Happy Endings. I know I've discussed it before. It was a good ABC show. It only, like I said, it ran for 3 seasons, and there have been rumblings of trying to get the band back together again and doing it, and somebody picking it up. Because I mean, it's streaming, I think, on Hulu and Netflix, and I think it does pretty well. And I just love it. It's a very modern take on kind of the Friends dynamic, right? The 6 group of friends and just kind of their life. I just would like to see how the characters evolved a little more after just 3 seasons, because I really loved each and every character on that show. So that would be an easy one for me.
That's good.
Very good.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Dean, you have one in mind?
MASH. Think about
so
it.
they're like back in their normal lives or something, or
Yeah,
war?
I mean, some of them you would have to recast. I mean, I don't know if you want to recast, but like, Radar isn't around. You have Hawkeye, who is still alive. But you'd have characters like Colonel Henry Blake. Who would probably do a really good part of that? Aaron Blake. Aaron
There
Blake
you
would
go.
do a fantastic Henry Blake, because he already does helps people out just like they did in MASH. But instead of meatball surgery, he does insurance.
Ooh.
See, Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell them war is hell and the idiot sent you.
Very good. Very good.
But my real answer is Scrubs.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's probably the closest to actually happening. One version or the other, whether it's going to be a movie or a one season or a one special, because they're doing the podcast fake doctors are real friends, and
Mhm.
they have the creator, Bill Lawrence, who also does. He did Cougar Town and Ted Lasso.
Okay.
So actually, he's also doing the new show. It's got like Harrison Ford in it.
Oh,
And
it's
Jason
Segel.
Segel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
I'm
good.
excited to see that.
Yeah, you tell me those two, and Bill Lawrence is doing it. Shit, I'm all in. But yeah, with all of that, they're looking to do something, put something together for the cast of Scrubs. So yeah, that would give me at least give me an hour episode, hour movie. That's all I need.
Okay.
You don't even need to give me a season. Fuck it, I'll be fine with an hour.
I like
what
that.
about you, Brian?
We may have talked about this prior, but how about Cheers?
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because you still have some of the main characters. Are, obviously you still have Ted Danson, you still have Kelsey Grammer, you have
all
Rhea
of them
Perlman,
are still alive,
right?
I mean, well, Kirstie Alley just died, but
right.
John Ratzenberg's still alive.
Yeah.
George Wendt.
Yep.
I mean, did Shelley Long? She's still alive, right?
I think she passed away.
Okay.
Not too long ago. Yeah. But yeah, so you could have an aging Sam opens up another local tavern or something, or maybe
he buys Cheers again. Like he'd sold it years ago, and like for some way somehow it's his first day of reopening Cheers that he owned 30 years ago.
Yeah, how about this? Like maybe somebody somebody had bought Cheers and made it like a microbrewery, and he buys it out. Doesn't really know what he's doing. You got a bunch of hipsters in there and stuff with craft beer. He doesn't really understand it. You got the regulars coming in looking for the regular beer and what the hell.
That's a really good idea.
That's a really fucking good. NBC, are you listening?
Yeah. They could easily infuse some younger characters into it and stuff like it. Woody Harrelson could come back even, at least as a cameo, Yeah, I like all that. So
one of the main kids, because Woody Harrelson's probably a bigger deal. Like he's not gonna join a series.
No.
So you have one of the main kid who bought it or whatever is Woody's son. So that way Woody can come back periodically through it.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got the pitch out there for a small fee, NBC.
See, that sucks because you say something so good, I would watch the fuck out of that.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I just thought of it just now.
It's very topical and current.
Right.
And it's a good idea.
Cheers to Electric Boogaloo.
It's too bad that only Jonathan will hear that.
Jonathan, make it happen.
Are you taking notes?
It's all on you, kid.
That's right.
Yeah, I know he's outside Brian's window, so I know he's listening.
That's right. Stop fix our website while you're at it. God dang it. Another one just real quick just came to me. How about sort of on the same sort of vibe as Wednesday. Maybe you have Eddie, who is the son of Herman and Lily Munster. Now he's grown up now, but he's maybe trying to be more of a normal guy and blend in with normal society more. Maybe it's more of that angle, but he has this kind of a weird background with the Munster family, something like that. There's something there too. Not as good as the Cheers one, but I don't know. Maybe there's something there with a grown-up Eddie and his family or something along that line. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
I got it. Mm-hmm. Chips, but instead of motorcycles, they're now on rascals chasing people through the mall.
Eric Estrada's still with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's still with us. I like it. All right. Any other ideas you want to mention before we wrap up this segment?
One more. Sorry, just gave me. Come on, you're giving me inspiration here. Golden Girls. It's just a half hour of headstones.
Damn.
Wow. Wow. Yep.
Are they all dead? Even the woman that played Sophia, is she gone too?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
Yeah. All right. a fine way to end this segment.
Rest in peace to this segment. There you go.
That's right. Yeah, there you go.
And each and every one of the Golden Girls.
If you have ideas out there, if you of a show you'd like to see made into a continuation or something like that, we'd love to hear your suggestions and your pitch. and your opinions on what we had to say there. So you can reach us on our Gmail, convincingidiots@gmail.com, and our social media accounts. Nick Gen X Brian here. Zennial Dean, Millennial Nick. If you like our stuff, give us a like and subscribe, and we may just send you a Polaroid of Millennial Nick's feet.